Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Psychologically is always you got the upper hand when you accuse someone of something or you break the news first. You always have the upper hand. Doesn't mean that that's true. It doesn't mean that you have it for long. But the person who's accused is gonna start from a lower position. Will have to work 2 times harder than the one who accused. So that's when you have a problem, when you make a report, let's say a law enforcement report or complaint. For the person who's accused or is the suspect has to work harder than the person who actually has to provide the law enforcement with evidence. It's you have to show kind of you're innocent. I know it's not about proving a negative or anything, but still that you will be one who's going to be asked questions, not the person who accused you of certain things, unless things occur. I'm just saying this for this article that I read here, and I have some questions, major questions regarding this reporting. I have an article from Ukrainska Pravda, so therefore this is a Ukrainian media outlet, and actually is a state-owned. And it's from September 3rd, 2022. Explosions rock Kherson. And now, Ukrainian armed forces destroy, listen to this, recreation facility at which Russian soldiers were staying. All right. Maybe it's so. Maybe it's so. Let's see what these guys are saying. On the afternoon of September 3rd, several powerful explosions were heard in occupied Kherson. Okay. Local residents reported that the armed forces of Ukraine destroyed a recreation facility. That should have been. But they tell us that the recreation facility is not filled with civilians. But instead, there is where a facility at which the Russian soldiers and local collaborators were staying. So, is this because we should not think that that's a war crime? I don't know. I asked a question. Can I? All right. According to the local news outlet, the armed forces of Ukraine targeted the Lost World Recreation Facility belonging to collaborator Volodymyr Saldo, who has offered this complex as accommodation for Russian troops. Most reports indicate that Russian occupiers and collaborators have stayed in the building for a long time. It is also known that many of them have left it recently. The outlet notes that it is currently unknown whether leaving the facility like this was due to rotation and whether a new batch of occupiers have moved in to stay at the Lost World. In online communities, residents of Kherson have posted that Russian mobile communication disappeared in a large part of the city after the explosions, and that there were interruptions in the activity of the Russian-controlled internet provider Skynet. Local telegram channels also reported that explosion thundered near Antovivka bridge, also stating that the entire aircraft system of the occupiers was on fire. Wow, these are bad. Don't buy them. Buy American-made, one and one 50% off. Another salesperson right here. Ding. All right. Background. On September 2nd, Ukraine General Staff reported that Russian company, which was based in Lost World Recreation Facility, left Kherson and took the looted property to the temporarily occupied territory of Crimea in 5 tented trucks. Man, these guys still think they are dealing with Soviet Union in Trotsky's time and Kaganovich's time or Beria's time or Djugashvili's time, Stalin times, or they think that these guys are just dealing with those criminals, those thugs. Maybe these are as well, but I think they're a little bit cleaner, if you know what I mean. They really think that they had something to loot from that facility and bring it to Crimea. Then why would you want to bring it to Crimea when Kherson is going to be part of Russia? Why would you do that? That's the first one. Second one, if that would have been the Russians claiming, the article would sound like this. The Russians destroyed a, what was that, a recreation facility full of summer tourists, and they killed about 50,000 of them, and children from 0 to 7, and old ladies from 80 to 1,000. This is probably how they would have reported. I'm not saying this is impossible. I have doubts, big doubts, and this is the first time they say it, so the Russians can say it back. So they got the, hey, they did it. Oh, it was the Russian, I mean, we did it, but it was the Russian army who was over there. Now, if that guy, the collaborator, gave the Russians the green light to stay at his facility, do you think that the Russians are that bad that they just looted the facility? Or what? That the guy allowed them to stay, they looted, so that the next batch that comes has nothing to loot? I mean, and why those guys? And then another thing, when you go and fight somewhere, I thought that you're right over there. You're in the trenches. You're by your systems with your weapon. What do you mean they're at the facilities over there? Who are those guys? And then they tell me about the command post being blown up. So what is going on here? It doesn't really make sense. Now, if those guys over there were just relax for a little bit, then that tells me that Kherson is a very peaceful city then. Then the Russians liberated it or occupied it. It's so many, doesn't make sense. And again, they shot the Antovivka area bridge. Okay, they destroyed the poor Russian anti-missile, anti-whatever, air defense system. They're bad, they're bad. The Americans have the best. Buy from them. Okay, buy. And you're going to win like Ukraine wins. Then I saw an article where it said the Ukrainians, destroyed again, hit the Antovivka bridge. Have you seen pictures of Antovivka bridge? I've seen. I saw those little holes, bam, 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 on the bridge. Now, they said about when they hit it the first time about 2 or 3 weeks ago, every day they hit it almost. What else remained out of that bridge? I mean, if you hit it every day successfully, as they say, let's say we got 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks you hit it, let's say 10 times. I'm not going to say 14, I'm going to say 10 times. If you hit it 10 times with, let's say, 5 shells, right? So that's already 50 right there, right? So 50, imagine 50. If you hit a bridge with 50 of those, what remains out of that bridge? And they say the first time they hit it, pinpointed, which it was, I saw the pictures, if there were the ones that actually were, all right, I saw it, they made it that they can function. The Russians tried to repair it, they hit it again. And the Russians had to say, screw you, we're going to do another one next to it, we're going to do a ferry, whatever we're going to do. And they let it be. The Ukrainians said that it's out of service, the bridge. But all of a sudden they keep hitting it. Why do you keep hitting it? If you hit it right the first time, the second time, the third time, the 50th time, why do you hit again? Today I saw an article about that. Maybe it's because lie. I'm not pointing the finger only at the Ukrainians. It just happens that I have their articles here at my fingertip. The other ones, I'm pretty sure they lie in the same way. But I have these guys, and I just want to make sure that these are ridiculous. But they have a job to do, and I understand they're at war with Russia, so they have to do this. Everybody does that. Who doesn't loses wars, I guess. Or you already won the war, and you can afford being honest. Or pretend. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.